What's good? What's good? What's good in the hood? I am, as always, your host, Juice. And this is a different kind of setup right now. This ain't a podcast episode. It's going right to the YouTube and also be on the BKC Network YouTube. Catch it on BKC Network, IGTV, and the Good in the Hood, IGTV, man. I'm pleased to be welcoming for guest today. My man, Cordell Watts. Man, how you feeling, bro?
I'm good, bro. How you doing? How you doing, man?
I'm all good considering, I'm saying, the situation, the current state of events right now, but I'm straight, man. Straight, man. How do it feel having a project just releasing one during the pandemic and now what's going on now? Like,
Um, it's a gift and a curse, really. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, like I've been promoting the album for like a second. Like, I think I
right.
started promoting the album since like December or like late November.
Okay.
So, like up until now, I was just like working on it. I was like adding different things. My bad. And truthfully, I didn't even think I was going to do 20 songs on the joint up until like it came out in April. So probably late March, like late
Okay.
March or like the beginning of April. I didn't think. I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep it at 16 or 18, this and that.
Right.
But then like I kept on recording, and I'm just like, yo, honestly, this right here, I feel like this, like, all these songs right here, like I like them because I recorded more than just 20. I recorded like
Right.
about 40, but
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like you can't have I'm not going to do no Chris Brown shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't wild like that. But
Dropping a 50 piece.
nah, I ain't going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
Yeah.
just like people talk about it, it's easier for you to fuck up. When you have that many songs on the album because it can get repetitive, it can sound the same and whatnot.
And
But
you can lose the audience attention. Yeah.
I will say this though, when I was debating on whether or not I should make it 20, I was like, you know what? Even though a lot of people, like, they don't want to hear long projects, I was like, nah, I think I'm gonna bet on myself on this one right here and just like, give them like a 20 piece, you know what I'm saying, and see what it's hitting for. And then the pandemic hit. Then the pandemic and then the lockdown hit, and I was just like,
Yeah.
yo, oh yeah, nah, they have no choice but to listen to this shit
Yeah.
now. They ain't got nothing to do.
Word, that's a good mindset because like I feel like some artists look at it like damn, I want to tour, but that's real. Like mom's gonna be sitting down, they gonna listen.
Mhm.
They're nothing but time now. Like as much music as possible, they're gonna listen to it now. Like I said,
Mhm.
I said it was your joint 20 songs. It was like a breeze. It's nothing to do. So like just listen to your project. Wasn't like 20 songs. Didn't feel like 20 songs. It was a nice blend of music, man. You have a nice balance. You have a lot of good songs for the ladies out there. I was surprised to kind of actually hear that because your sound, because you have this sound that's kind of like it's very you very have a very lyrical stance with you. Like it's very you come off as a dude who's about his bars. So like
Thank
to
you, bro.
hear to all love, bro. And hearing the songs and with the women, is dope. It's a very dope balance. I'm saying it's I don't like to compare artists a lot, but it's kind of what I wanted from like a Wale type or from or I even hear a lot of J Cole from you. Um, and I didn't know you was from New York. Maybe because your last name is Watts. I just thought you was from LA. So you know what I'm saying, but talk about how the New York sound. Like how was it up there? Like, how was the sound up there? How has it inspired you from Bed Stuy?
Okay, so basically, like from the very beginning, cause like I've been rapping for a minute. I've been making
Right.
music for like a minute. I think it's like it's going on about 10 years, if it's not already 10 years. But
Salute.
so basically, thank you, bro. What happened was at the very beginning, I was heavily inspired, and I'm still inspired, but like Nas, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like my all-time favorite rapper,
Really?
off the rip. So at the beginning when I was like 14, 15 and I was trying to rap, I was so hell bent on like creating an Illmatic before I was 18,
Mm.
you know? And I feel like, those years I didn't really have like my own identity. I didn't get my own identity until probably 2016. That's when I created my own identity, I'd say. So it took a long time. I ain't even gonna
Right.
lie to you. So
And
um
can I ask,
I,
how old are you? What you want me asking?
I'm 24.
24. Word. Okay. You still young then for sure. And it's crazy. I think Nas is it's hard to compare anybody to Nas because doing what he did with his first album at that age, unreal,
Yo, yeah,
unreal,
most definitely.
unreal. I woke up early on my born day. I'm 20 years of blessing. Like, man, you 20 years old, you rapping like this? I was 20 years old in the mischief. So yeah, man, it's definitely hard. It's dope to see someone with their own identity out here, a different identity. It's really a breath of fresh air, especially with today's climate. Everything kind of sounds exactly the same. Like everyone sounds like Dirk, everyone sounds like Thug, everyone sounds like Roddy Ricch. You know what I'm saying? It's all that sound for the most part. So whenever, and I'm actually at a point in my life where I'm almost damn near throwing the white flag on rap. Like, man, this shit ain't for me no more. I've aged it. My generation is the cold generation. Like, they cold for the retire. So like, I'm like, all right, this generation's not for me. So to hear somebody like you, someone like a JID, like people of your age frame, like still out here spitting, it's a breath of fresh air, bro, for real.
Thank you. See, when it comes to that, I've always wanted to venture out and do different sounds, but at the end of the day, my origin is always going to be like hip hop, you know.
Right.
So I'm
and you bring
no
the
matter
melodies
how,
too. And you bring the
I was
melodies.
trying.
Yeah.
I was trying, bro, because even though it's a rap album, I was heavily over the last year, I was heavily inspired by R&B mostly. So
Yeah.
I wanted it to have a R&B feel where I'm it's still rap. I'm still, giving you bars, but you feel like a R&B, you get an R&B feeling to it. That's why I like the album cover, it's me at the
Yeah.
front, with the blazer on with, nothing else and shit
Yeah.
like that. Cause I wanted to
Yeah.
give them that Watts is dropping the R&B album, but it's I'm still rapping though. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure. Yeah, for sure.
So it was heavily inspired by R&B, love, you know what I'm saying? And romantic encounters and whatnot. I wanted to get real personal, on this one right here. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you mentioned R&B in the aspect of today's music because I feel like I agree with you. I feel like a lot of new music today, I'm listening to more R&B than ever in my life. So for you, is most of your in your rotation outside of your music or anyone you collab with, is it pretty much R&B right now?
As far as what I listen to on a daily rotation, yeah,
Yeah.
Easily. I catch myself listening to way more R&B than straight
Yeah.
hip hop now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's only a few artists as far as hip hop go that can catch my attention now that I'll actually take the time and listen to their project. Me and you, we was just talking about Mick Jenkins. You know what I'm
Man.
saying?
Yeah.
That's one dude. I'll actually he's dropping tonight. I'm gonna stay up until
Yep.
late
That's
so
what
I can catch
yeah.
that album.
There's only a handful of them artists still for me, like Mick Jenkins, Freddie Gibbs, Masaba. There's a few artists like that for me still, but it's far in between, like you saying. It's mostly for me. If I catch I'm gonna catch a Division album. I'm gonna catch, I'm saying, a Snow Allegra album. That's gonna be my wheelhouse right now. And it seems like I feel like the reason is, and I want to ask you a question after I say this, because it seems like the reason, to my opinion, is I'm more of a fan of lyrical rap or at least rap with more content. And I feel like that kind of rap, those artists typically take years off in between albums. So while I'm waiting for Mick Jenkins, I'm just gonna put this Ari Lennox on real quick. I'm saying because everything else sounds alike. Everything else sounds the same outside of those few artists in hip hop. And I want to ask, so I want to ask you, for your creative process, you like I said, being lyrical, but you still bring the melody also, of course. How long do you think it'll be till you drop another project? How do you plan next? What's your next plan as far as releasing music in the future?
Well, as far as that go, I'm not going to even hold you. As far as when it comes to rap, it gets each time, the more you grow and the more years go by, it does get harder to keep the content on a consistent, level. As far as try not to sound the same, but as far as that goes, I try to drop every year, because I'm not at that point where I'm afforded the opportunity to take 1.5 years off or 2 years off between projects and stuff like that. So as of right now, I have a whole bunch of content that I didn't drop yet that I might, give them. And then also I'm working on I'm actually working on two joint projects right now. I have a joint project that I'm working on with he's new to the creative Kanvas. Um his Mob Trey. He dropped his album like about a couple weeks ago, doing better than I'm feeling. And me and him, like, we have real good chemistry together. Like, if, he's on my album too and I'm on his. So we was like, you know what, nah, we should just, do a joint project because, we think alike, you know what I'm saying? And we just, like, when it comes to when we send beats to each other, like, they get done. You know what I'm saying? Like, we not one of those, like, artists like, yo, let's build, let's work. And then we never work. You know what I'm saying? So whenever we get into it, and I feel like if we get in that pocket and give ourselves like 2 or 3 months, we could probably knock out like 15 songs easy. So we working on a project that's probably going to drop in the fall. And then me and Terrence Mack should have been did a project together, you know what I'm saying? But we in talks of doing that too. So as far as that goes, those are the two projects to look out for like in the near future. But right now, as far as another solo project, that I'm leaning towards next year, probably like next summer.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Because I got a couple joints that, like, you know what I'm saying, that can go outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to play joints that, like, you can, like, when it comes out in the summer,
Mm-hmm.
I wanna have that song that you can play outside. Like, I wanna have a couple
that what's in your cup might do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that I recorded that like last year and I put it out. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I was depressed. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, after I dropped my other album, I was depressed. So I didn't even like promote it. So I just was like, not many people heard it. So I'm gonna just put it on the album as like a bonus, truthfully. And then what else on there? The cry, I guess. It's not really like an outside, but it's like a summer bop. I feel like
I rock with that song heavy, bro. I put that song came on. I put it in repeat like at least 3 times. That's a tough record right there.
I was actually inspired by that. Like when I made most of the beats on the album, but when I heard that beat,
dope.
like when I heard that melody, and then I didn't really have to do much. I just put like a couple basses in it, and I put the snap in it, and when I did, I was like, nah, this is some Chance the Rapper kind of type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit. I was, that was my mindset. I was like, nah, this sounds like a joint that like. I have to kind of go off on this. And it wasn't even supposed to actually be a full song. It was supposed to be just like a little like small cut, for the intro. But then I dropped the intro as a single, and then it was like, oh, that second part though, that's gonna be on the album. I'm like, I don't think so. And then it was like, nah, you gotta finish that. I'm like, all right. So I finished it, and sure enough, it's on the album.
What made you get into producing most of your projects? Like, is there inspiration behind that, or is it just because it's easier? It's more affordable just to learn how to do it than trying to get producers to do
it. Everything you mentioned, pretty much. Because when it comes to the beats and whatnot, and the business aspect of it, you own that beat straight out, so you don't really have to like worry about like royalties. You don't really have to worry about leasing or exclusive rights and stuff like that. Only thing you really have to worry about is like the sampling part of it, and making sure that you don't get sued by anybody. So I just started. I had the FL Studio on my other laptop. I had the HP laptop a couple years ago, and that was when I was like doing all my music off of that. And I had the FL Studio producers version, and I never was using it. I ain't start using it until late 2016, and that was when I was working on my Burnt Bridges and Aggravation album, and I made this song called this beat, like it has the it has the Miles Davis sample on there, and when I first, it's kind of like inspired by you ever heard Jay Dilla's Life beat?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It had that like the piano riff on that, and then I just added my drums and whatnot on there, And that was the first beat that I ever made. And I was like, yo, nah, I can do a little something with this. And then I just kept on trying to like, you know, get better. And then I got the MacBook, and I had Logic. And so I ended up just playing with that and learning. And most of my albums, I try to, you know, produce like at least half of it, you know, at least, at the very least. And then, you know, because I don't want to also, you know, restrain myself from not working with other producers too, because, you know, a lot of, you know, producers got really good beats. But I also want to separate myself from like the people who use the YouTube beats, because you don't want to sit there and like make a song and then you find out somebody else have the same beat as you know, and it's not no remix that you don't know the person or anything, and then you have to like, you know, go through little disputes about, yo, you know, I own that beat straight out. Why are you using it, this and that? So I'd rather just like, you know, have my own. And if somebody asks me if they want to use my beat like as a remix or whatever, you know, I have the, you know, choice to be like yes or no, or like, all right, yo, if you want this beat, you putting it on streaming, you gotta pay me this and that. So it is beneficial also, because like I can sit there and I can sell my beats to other people, you know, so that's another form of income as well on top of like, you know, the music. So I just was like, nah, let me try to like, you know, hone my skills. And I'm still not the best at beat making, but I'm getting way better than I was, you know.
And man, for you to do most of that project, me not know it, and it sounded pretty great, man. I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah, just keep at it, man. It's only gonna get better. Like it's man, for real. And mentioning Terrence Mack, and what's the other brother's name you said before Terrence Mack?
Mob Trey.
Mob Trey.
Mm-hmm.
Where with all y'all now joined into the Blank Kanvas Creatives network we just set up on started off on Facebook and going to other social media platforms. What draws you? What's drawing you into that? What made you want to be so active and I'm saying just grow underneath that umbrella or push that brand with us?
Truthfully, basically it all started because we was all in this Joe Budden podcast group, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like at the very beginning, you know, and then basically a lot of things. I can't, you know, I don't want to really get into it because it's not really my, you know what happened is not really like my fight. But basically, you know, me, Vic, you know, and a whole bunch of other people, you know what I'm saying? Like we was in this group and it was just like, oh, you know, we starting you know, the Blank Kanvas, you know, creative group, you know, join it, you know, we trying to you know, shed light on, you know, the creatives that's, you know, actually going hard for this shit. And it's amazing how many people have so many talents, you know, like there's painters in there. You know, there's music producers, podcasters, artists, people in the media, and you know, it's crazy because I saw it grow. I seen it grow. Like I seen it from like when it was just like 20 people in here, and then now it's way more people than, you know, I'm pretty sure any of us would have imagined. You know what I'm saying? And what draws me to it is that there's more people there like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm pretty young, but a lot of the people that I can see myself conversing with and being around in real life are in there. You know what I'm saying? And I can like, you know, I can get up with them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel no judgment. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's cool. You know, nobody's fake. Everybody just, you know, supports each other and, you know, rocks with each other. You know, and I like that energy. Yeah, no corny shit, and I like that. You know what I'm saying? That's been my main like thing, because out in New York, it's not like that. It's not cut and dry like that. You know, there's a lot of people. You got to watch out for yourself. You got to, you know, be very cautious in who you know, take to and who you're around and whatnot. But I don't feel like in you know, Blank Kanvas creative, you know. Now I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah, man. Like like I became an admin, and it's been pretty dope just being a part of it and seeing it grow. Also from like just from me, just from especially shout out to Vic, shout out to Uncle Vic, shout out to Matt Harris, shout out to all the admin. Like, but those two in particular, like they really talked the big game to me when I first got there about like what they want from BKC, and it inspired me. And from being in BKC, I found the dude who made this logo. Like I said with Matt Harris and on the last video we did together, and it sparked me to build this podcast that I've started. You know what I'm saying? And to see like cats like you, cats like Terrence Mack push their music. There's a young lady in LA, Ashley. She's a painter. Like all these things.
Yeah, she's dope. I love her.
Super dope. Super dope. Dope ear for music too. Her playlists are amazing. The homie Mitch, ML Gainer, he's on the front line in Minnesota. I'm saying helping with the protests. Like just seeing all the different people that's involved is very dope. And also shout out to the homie Chris Bowles. He said that he's possibly producing and trying to do some shit with y'all, right? Like do some shit with you and Terrence.
Possibly? Oh yeah, most definitely. Because he's also with the True North Views podcast. You know, him and Matthew, they run it, and I'm just like, you know, he hit me up and was like, I make beats too, and I'm like, oh word. And then he sent me something, and it was this one beat that stuck out to me. It felt like early Dipset. It felt like Rockefeller. And I was like, yo, nah, this shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, nah, like I can probably like really learn from him. So, you know, I definitely want to you know, rap over one of his beats, you know, at some point, you know. Terrence Mack as well, for a fact.
Like with all of us being under the same umbrella or just in the same social network to be able to talk to each other anytime we like to. For this to happen, me interviewing you, you literally my first interview ever on this podcast, on this platform of mine. So I super appreciate that. You know what I'm saying, and I plan on doing one with Terrence. I plan on doing and just listening to new music. I appreciate hearing new music. Both of y'all dropped 2 dope projects that I never would have heard without BKC. So I really appreciate that shit. And mentioning what Mitch is doing in Minnesota and what's going on in Minnesota, which is now leaked over to all across the world. We see London's doing it, Japan's protesting, New York's protesting. There's protests here in Chicago. Like, what is your take on how this is being handled, on what's going on in the world?
Well, I'm all for it. You know, 100%. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, you know, the people who are against it, they're very hypocritical, because a lot of them didn't want, you know, Colin Kaepernick to, you know, peacefully kneel and protest, and they didn't want them to do that. They were saying, oh, it looks bad for America, this and that.
Yeah.
But now that we're not peacefully protesting anymore, we're not sitting here just like laying down, you know, for the authority figures no more, and we just actually taking action, you know, and not caring about the repercussions of it. They want to say, oh, why y'all not peacefully protesting? We tried that. Y'all told us not to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't want us to. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
and then
go ahead.
And I mean, yeah, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. So, you know, I was out there the other day. Like I was out there at the precinct next to my crib. Like I found out they was protesting right there. I was like, nah, I'm over here talking all of this black liberation shit. And if I don't go out there right now, am I really about it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, am I really, you know, down for the cause? Like, I'm actually, you know, I'm a coward if I can't, you know, jump in, you know, and do this. So I was right there with them, and they attacked us. They did all of this stuff. And then the night before, actually last night, they was setting fire to squad cars. We was getting crazy out in Flatbush, man. Word.
Man. And like last night got crazy here in Chicago. And honestly, yeah, I feel bad for the few like black-owned businesses that being harmed by this. But at the same time, if they don't hear us now, they'll never hear us. Like they want us to be silent, like you said. They ain't want him to kneel. They want him to play football. Like just stick to sports. Now we getting violent back, and they don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, eat your poison. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at this point, like, how much more can we take? How many more George Floyds can there be? You know what I'm saying? We have to put our foot down some way, shape, or form. And I'm not for people stealing, but I'm more for people getting justice than I'm against people looting. I don't care about looting nearly as much as I care about someone being murdered. You know what I'm saying? And people, I'm seeing a lot of people on Facebook, Twitter, online complaining about the looting, but has said nothing at all about the murder. And
there you go.
We see y'all. We see y'all. That's a
Yeah,
problem.
it's disgusting, man. You know what I'm saying? When you really think about it, because a lot of the people talking about all lives matter and doing, they're nowhere to be found when all of these people are getting killed. The only reason why the Michael Floyd situation, I said Michael Floyd, my bad, George Floyd situation is getting any burn is because it was nationally televised, it was on video, you know what I'm saying, and it went
Yeah,
viral. There's also a lot of other people who get, killed by police, you know what I'm saying, and
yeah.
and white supremacists and whatnot that don't get as much attention, and they're nowhere to be found. They don't say anything about that. So
Just like a
at
Ahmaud Arbery. Like
yeah,
he was jogging, and if we didn't see that video, they might never been charged. That happened in March, so we didn't see that until May. So them dudes was free and living life fine until the video finally went viral of these people killing this man who was just jogging.
He was just jogging, or more recently in Central Park, old girl talking about, oh, I'm threatened, this and that.
Man,
He's trying to attack me. She right there on video,
oh yo,
saying all of this and calling the cops like that. And he's more than 6 feet away from her.
and,
He was
and
more.
she and she damn near killed her dog in the process.
She was choking the little dog out.
Like, you what? Like, what are you doing, lady? Talking about
She
this
was
African American is threatening me and my dog. No, you're threatening your dog. Like,
exactly. And say it was like, say, I guess, I don't know what, 10, 15 years ago. If it was like 15 years ago and we didn't have like the technology and the phones to like film that, the cops would have probably came and detained him and arrested him and did all of this stuff because of what she said. You
can
know what I'm
you
saying? That's
can
just
you
pure evil.
can you imagine how different things would be if we had technology during like a Hurricane Katrina or during like a 9/11? Like if those events was, I'm sure there was some savagery being done back then. So just like to think about what's going on now, how are we seeing? Thankfully, we're seeing like people record these protests because we're seeing undercover police turning them into riots. Like the undercover police just bashing the windows in and making it look like we're the ones doing the damage when it's actually police trying to put it on us.
Exactly, because they want to make sure, like, if they catch a lot of us, they want to make sure that shit sticks. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like with no, you know, part of getting out, in the foreseeable future or anything like that. They want to make sure they. It's all disgusting, man. It's all a crooked game, and they want to talk about, oh, peace is the answer. Well, history proves otherwise, because in most cases, a lot of the revolutions didn't, nothing really changed until people started, using violence, and you know what I'm saying, the Haitian Revolution and whatnot, Jamaica being free from, the British and whatnot, and it's documented that, sometimes you gotta fight, you know their fight, you gotta fight the way they fighting to get your justice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And we just saw today they showed video pictures of J. Cole in North Carolina. We've seen Nick Cannon. He's in New York or LA, one of them, in the protests. What is your take on like people putting so much expectation on celebrities to protest? I'm seeing Kanye West and Kendrick Lamar and Jay-Z and Beyonce getting flack for not speaking yet about George Floyd. What is your take on celebrities or influencers having to speak in these times?
My take is it's beneficial for them to, speak on these things, but I don't think we should ever rely on them, because
Mhm.
a lot of them are so far removed from, you know, all of this that's going on, that some of them, I'm not going to say all of them, but a lot of them can't even fathom, or, really, take the time to break it down, even though they're the same color we are. They're so far removed, and they're just ignorant to it. So it's like, I feel like it's beneficial for them to jump in, and be there with us. And I would love to see all of them being there with us, because they benefit off of our culture. But we shouldn't rely on them. We should just continue doing what we're doing, fighting our fight. And if they choose to join the fight, then I'm cool with that. I'm 100% cool with that. But otherwise, we just got to keep doing our thing. Because I was just talking about this earlier. a lot of people, they feel like they so far removed from urban civilization and, the communities that's, targeted by this and all of that. But at the end of the day, no matter how many people, like, they're associated with, on the other side, how rich they are, there's still a cop or white supremacists that don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And they're liable to get killed by them too. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I feel like any celebrity or anybody, in that level of status should be here trying to fight with us. But if they not, we don't need them. Good riddance to them. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
I'm also in between situation. Like I understand why a Jay-Z or Beyonce isn't vocal on social media. But at the same time, in this world we're in today, I can't just have hope or faith that y'all are behind the scenes getting shit done. I like to believe it, but speak, because like we want Jay-Z, we want Kendrick Lamar, we want these people to be the Malcolm X, the Martin Luther King, the Fred Hamptons of our generation. We want these to be our black leaders to uplift this culture. You know what I'm saying? We want them to be what Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton couldn't necessarily be. Like Jay-Z, Kanye, y'all are billionaires. Diddy, you're almost a billionaire. Like you have the money, you have the power, you have the respect. And we want y'all voices to speak so our voices can be louder. But at the same time, I can't also sympathize and feel like, all right, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of weight to put on somebody that's not voluntarily doing it. But that's kind of what you get when you become that kind of figure in this world. Like that's the consequence of all the success.
Exactly. And you shouldn't even, if you want at that level, you shouldn't even want to stand idly by
At
and
all.
watch, because yes, you're, put away to the point where they know, a lot of people know who you are. You're protected, to an extent. But at the end of the day, you don't want to. Me personally, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. A lot of them is just like, they're not looking at the bigger picture of all of this. You know what I'm saying?
especially like especially people like that are rappers. Like you guys are literally one opportunity short of, you could have been George Floyd. Like Jay-Z, you from in this part in the city. You could have been George Floyd had you not found success. So like I feel
Mhm.
like they should be speaking more, because that could have been them if they didn't get that break.
Exactly, because I come where I come from where Jay-Z come from.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like right there, I used to live. I don't live in Marcy Projects no more, but I used to live in Marcy Projects. Like
Damn, it's crazy.
right, right when in '98 when they was like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was just fresh out the projects. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And shit was going on back then. So it was like you said, we would like to have faith that they're doing things behind the scenes, but it would be a feeling of relief if we know that they're here with us. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. At least put a message out or something. Like just say something one time.
Hmm.
You ain't gotta necessarily be out there to protest, but voice be vocal, because right now, like we need the Jay-Z's, the Obamas, we need y'all to be speaking, because we right now we just getting attacked by left and right. We getting attacked everywhere we turn. So it's like even like we're in a situation right now where we have two president candidates who have none of their policies are for the betterment of us. So like we need our leaders to be loud and strong. Like even though Biden is way better option for us than Trump, at the end of the day, his policies are just to get America looking right. They don't care about Black America.
No.
Black America is third, fourth place in their eyes.
Hmm.
And
I say this all the time. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
go ahead.
As far as the Joe Biden thing, like, it's very telling. Sometimes when you're just in the background, just looking cool, the entire time,
Mm-hmm.
it's a way bigger difference than when you on the front line and you gotta speak, because I'm speaking for myself. Like I thought, damn, Joe Biden's really a cool road dog to have with you, when
Mm-hmm.
Obama was like president. That's what I was thinking. Now I hear this man talking, I'm just like,
Every
I
time he
don't want this
speaks,
guy to be my president.
every time he speaks, it's like damn. It's like It's the guy. Like, every
You
time
ain't black.
Man, you go, like the nerve to even think to say those words is crazy. Like to say that and to say it to a black man, I'm like, I don't know how Charlamagne just brushed that off, but I would have flipped the fuck out. Like, what? I don't care if a black man votes for Trump or not. A white man ain't gonna tell me he ain't black. I don't care what. I might say it, but a white dude ain't gonna say it. You crazy?
Exactly.
Especially those 70-year-old white dude. Like, you gotta relax.
Not one shred of melanin in him. You talking crazy? Shit, crazy.
For to be the authority on who's black. What? But before we get out of here, man, I gotta ask you. I'm not sure if we had this discussion in the BKC world yet, but I have an artist who I believe is leaps and bounds. I believe he's the Michael Jordan of the world. I think he's the best to ever do it. I'm not gonna say where he's from because I don't want you to be. I'm gonna see what you say. Who's the best rapper ever?
The best rapper ever. Shit. To me, the best rapper ever. What we basing it on? We like
Skill, catalog, ability, impact.
I'm gonna say this and it's strictly off of the fact of like not only having the skill, the sound, and the longevity, but and this is not even New York bias, but I'm gonna have to go with Jay-Z because off of the fact, you know, you you're you're in the game for so long. You know what I'm saying? You made classic albums. You made plenty of classic albums, and you found the way to sound different on each and every one of those albums.
Yeah.
You stood the test of time, and at 50 years old in a rap, like you know how they do in the rap,
Yeah.
industry. Once you hit a certain age, they don't want to really hear from you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've been able to bypass all of this, and you're 50 years old, and people still want to hear Jay-Z verses. This man tore fucking Jay Electronica up. That's a Jay-Z album to me. You know what I'm saying? And you can do that at 50.
The last two songs, I think Jay Electronica was able to rebound them last two songs. But before that, it's pretty much Jay-Z dominant for me.
That's a Jay-Z album mixtape or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to me. So the fact that you've not only been able to have a great catalog that sounds good, you sold millions, billions, number one spots.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still at that point where people want to hear what you gotta say. It's no way. I used to think it was Nas, but it's no way. It's Jay.
Yeah, so it used to be Nas, now it's Jay. And where are you right now? Like where are you at right now?
What are you talking about? Like, as far as like the
where
location?
You reside, where you reside right now in life?
Oh yeah, Brooklyn, New York.
Can you be more specific?
Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
You in Bedford Stuyvesant, and you got on here and talked about Jay-Z and Nas.
Yeah, it's
Live from
very.
Bedford Stuyvesant, the livest one.
Listen, man.
To the fullest.
Listen, man. I love Big. I love Big. Like I love Big. But it's like I feel like at the end of the day, it's two albums. You know what I'm saying? It's two albums. Versus a catalog of 10 plus from both. You know what I'm saying? And between both of them, probably like 25 albums. Between each other. I obviously Big would have still been Big if he didn't die, and he would have been right there on par with them. But I feel like the whole the Big and Pac discussion, I love both of them, but even I like Big better, but even Pac like has more of like a claim to like the greatest of all time than Big, off of the fact that he has like, and I'm from New York saying this, but he has more of a claim to say, Tupac is the best of all time because of all of the music that he's put out, the catalog. You know what I'm saying? And these aren't just like recycled, throwaways and like vocals that they found from him, You know what I'm saying? To just put over a random beat. These are songs that he actually was in the studio and recorded like 3-4 albums before he died, and it was still coming out. I'm not the biggest fan of, like, I listen to Tupac, but I'm not the biggest fan of him. But that speaks volumes, you know. Like, and now Big is still in my top 5, but as far as the greatest of all time, me personally, I can't give him that. The same reason why I couldn't give like Big Pun, you know, that, or any other rapper that's like, you know, has passed, with the exception of like, you know, Tupac. Truthfully.
I gotta ask you this question here, just to so I can, because I understand how someone could say Tupac might be greater than Big because Tupac's impact and what he did beyond music, of course, all that stuff is phenomenal. Now let's talk about just one thing: who raps better?
Oh, Big, easily.
All right, okay. That's what I want you. As long as we get that clear, all right, we cool. We cool then.
Oh yeah, of course.
All
Like,
right.
Big got that.
I think bar for bar, like outside of like Nas, Andre, I don't think anyone rapped better than Biggie rapped. Like, yeah, Biggie only got 2 albums. Jay has what, 15 plus with Washington and the Jay Elect album all in there, and the now denounced R. Kelly albums. Like, you can't even mention those joints. But like Jay-Z got 2 R. Kelly albums. That's crazy. Like, that's kind of
Yo,
crazy.
listen, man. I ain't gonna know. I'm gonna keep this 100. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Not listening to R. Kelly's music has been the hardest thing
It's tough. It's tough at times.
in my life musically, and you know what I'm saying. Obviously, everything that he's done is disgusting, and you know they should put that man under the jail. But
yeah,
it has been so hard. Like I've yeah, man. Like sometimes when I, like, you know, I'm walking past and I hear somebody playing it, like I be in my mind, I'm like, but then I'm like, oh shit, never mind.
it's chaos. They do that. Like, because for me, like my favorite Mother's Day song has always been R. Kelly Sadie. So when Mother's Day come, I usually play that song. But like, man, can't play this no more. It don't even
No,
sound right
sir.
no more. I used to love I Wish. I can't play these songs no more, man. And like going back to like the hip hop and the Jay-Z, the Bigs, like who do you see like of our, like when we as in our adulthood who's impacted hip hop, like who's in that realm for our generation, our era? Who do you put up there with the Hoes, the Nas, the Bigs, the Pops, the Kanyes?
Um, it's, you know, truthfully, as far as all of this goes, it's hard not to, like, you know, put the Coles and the Kendricks, you know, in there.
Drake?
Even Drake, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, um, more so for me, I would say, you know, Cole. I would put him in there because, like, I mean, all right, I might get killed for this, like, and you know, like when you put this up, you know, in the BKC or whatever, I might get killed for this. But I didn't like Damn. I didn't like the Damn album.
Hey, guess what,
I
Cordell?
didn't like.
Guess what, Cordell? Welcome to the team, brother. Damn,
Oh, you too?
outside of Duckworth, that album does not get play for me. The last
Yeah.
song on there gets hella play. But outside of that,
man.
I'm cool.
People kill me every day when I say it, because, like, you know, I be saying it to troll because I know people going to kill me, but I really feel like this. I said the other day, I was like, yo, it's 2020. We can stop pretending that Damn was a good album. Man, you know what I'm saying?
Like, yo, like, and the crazy part about it is the reason I feel like it's not a good album is because I remember when it dropped and everyone just instantly called it a classic. I'm like, yo, what are y'all listening to? This is an instant classic. Ain't no, I guess it's not a bad album, but it's definitely not nowhere near a classic. Like, it's not. It's probably Kendrick's worst album in my opinion. Like,
to me, yeah.
Outside of like Untitled, which I don't even count. Like that's just.
I even like Untitled better than this one. I ain't even gonna lie. Truthfully, bro,
yeah,
like
all that Rihanna shit. That yeah, I'm cool, man.
When I listen to it, this is how I feel when I listen to it, and when I look at the cover, I'm like, yo, if somebody that wasn't Kendrick Lamar made this,
please,
y'all would have been calling this shit trash. I promise you.
Or wouldn't listen to it.
Exactly.
either they call it trash or they would never play it. Like it's and like for me, that's how I feel. Also about a lot of Big Sean stuff. There's a lot of artists like that. I just feel like get a lot of love for namesake. And Kendrick, of course, is a great rapper. He's not
Hmm.
necessarily Big Sean realm, but it's just projects that drop that we just gas. And I never understand like how this happens. Like why is Damn the one that y'all go to? To People Butterfly is light years better than this album. How you gonna call this an instant
Easily,
classic? You
easily.
know? Like, yeah, I'm more of a Cole fan than a Kendrick fan though. Also, so that's also kind of why I feel that way because I feel like Cole gets almost half the recognition that Kendrick gets, and I don't understand why.
See, the only reason why, the only time I think Cole, in my opinion, missed was with the For Your Eyes Only album. That was the only one, out of his mixtapes and his albums, I
But
didn't
I didn't like his
go
first
back
album.
to.
I didn't like his first album. His first album I didn't like.
His first album, it could have definitely been better, but even
That
that
song
one,
with
I'll
Jay
I'll
Z.
listen to.
That song
Like,
with
I got a
Hope.
couple songs on it. Oh yeah, the one with Hope, that Mr. Nice Watch out. Yo, he could have saved that one.
He could have kept that shit in the tuck forever.
Yeah. Yeah, like don't even that shit irked me. I like the what you call it, the work that, song, and then like a cut. It's another song on there called Never Told. You know what I'm
Yeah, that was
saying?
hard. Never Told was hard. Rise and Shine. There's a few
Mhm.
joints on there. Factually, there's a few on there. I hate the song Cold World though. That shit, he's like very happy. I hated that song.
Yeah, yeah. I don't ever want to hear artists be happy unless, unless, like, you know what I'm saying? It's on some shit like the 808's gotta be hard. You know
Gotta
what
be
I'm saying?
super hard. Yeah, it gotta be
Can't,
hard for real.
can't just get on that shit happy. Nah.
What do
Be
you feel?
depressed.
What do you feel about the versus battles on IG?
It's been entertaining, thus far. I feel like if they want to go any further though, they gotta, get better, equipment, or they have like if there's because there's a lot of older artists that has had trouble with the equipment that they've used. So I feel like if you're gonna have older artists that's like probably not well versed on jumping on live and getting on a phone and whatnot, there should be somebody there to like assist them in that, and I'm not talking about somebody they cool with that might, you know what I'm saying, it's like engineer that knows about that, you know what I'm saying, because
Absolutely.
like we seen how Parks saved what you call it saved
Save Dream.
RZA,
Yeah, yeah.
Supreme and RZA. So it should be something like that. Truthfully, like
I
if
don't
you ask
understand.
me.
Like, somehow it's gotten so much worse. Like I remember, like when it first started, like the quality with Sean Garrett and Dream wasn't the problem. There was no quality problems I don't recall of with Neo and Jonte. Like it just like seems like the bigger the audience gets, the more trouble it is with the buffer and whatnot. Are you going to tune
Hmm.
into the Fred Hampton versus the Fred? Was it Fred Hampton? I think that's his name. I forgot the dude's name, but the gospel joint tonight. Kirk
Oh,
Frank.
that's tonight.
I think so.
I'll definitely probably jump in.
Yeah,
Off of the fact that I feel like we should give the gospel,
love you.
just as much burn as we would like a regular R&B or hip hop. So I'll definitely jump in. I don't know all of their songs, but like I know a couple Kirk Franklin tracks. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be judging both of them. I'd probably just be listening because I don't even really I haven't heard no songs from other men. Forgive me, but I'll definitely drop in just to see, test the temperature, see who in there. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Actually,
ain't gonna lie, I was over there. I was hyped when Ashanti was in Ludacris versus Nelly shit. I was like, oh, hi Ashanti. Even though she didn't know who the hell I was hyped. I was like, yes.
I would, I, I would love to see like, people throwing around the idea with Ti versus 50. I would love to get them more creative with the battles. Like this, shit, like to be more creative, have more random assortment of people, just to keep it entertaining.
I wouldn't mind that. Only people I can't really see doing it. I wouldn't see 50 doing it only because of like how 50 is. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
So
Like 50 will say some shit that'll ruffle some feathers, and you know what I'm saying. Not everybody is like not sensitive. So I feel like he'll be like, oh, nah, yo, when this first came out, bro, I thought this shit was trash. And then like have the other artists like, well, all right then.
If the 50 and job battle would have really happened, I would have just tuned in for the commentary, man. Like 50 and Ja would just be just dissing each
Niggas
other.
would argue.
It would have been hilarious. I would have signed up for that alone. And
Oh,
mentioning like verses like BKC, we planning on doing like some sort of like we do the Flameless Fridays thing with the playlist. We're planning on doing something like that with like a live or for Zoom. Like me and Chris want to do a rematch of our Chicago versus Memphis playlist that we did and stuff like that, man. What you think of that idea?
I wouldn't mind it. I would definitely tune in for sure, you know, because I want to see that. I want to see that because it's been a lot of talks of how to like, you know, take that, you know, take this to the next level. Like, you know, me and Chris was talking about doing like a live beat battle, you know, and whatnot. It's been a lot of things. Even me and Terrence Mack or, you know, Wob Trey, we can do like a, you know, we can do a hit battle even though we don't got no hits. Like technically, you know what I'm saying? Like
sound clash.
But all of this, it would be nice, you know, to you know, shed light on a lot of us and how good we are at what we do. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's not one person in this group that I was just like, oh, this person shouldn't be doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like this person is not that good at that. You know, like it's not one. So that's another thing. I love the talent, you know, and the fact that there's not people like gassing it and pretending that somebody's actually good at something that they're not. Because you get a lot of that in a lot of places. Like this person might have a level of status, but they're not really good, you know, but everybody kisses their ass because, you know what I'm saying, of who they are. So there's none of that here, you know, in the BKC, and I love it, you know.
Man, for real. Hey man, I appreciate you taking time out your day to chat with me, bro. It was dope, really dope experience, man. Please follow Cordell Watts, man, online. Listen to his project. Tell me where to find you, bro.
You can find me anywhere pretty much. I'm on Instagram, CWattsNYC. Twitter, CWattsNYC. And if you want to tune into the music, all you got to do is just type in Cordell Watts. That's CORDELLWATTS on anything, and you know my music pops right up. I ain't hard to find.
Man, dope. And please follow me at JuiceJVP on Instagram and Twitter. Follow the podcast, Good in the Hood Pod on Instagram, Good in All Hoods on Twitter. And follow BKC. That's the Blank Canvas Creators Crew, Blank Canvas Creator Network. You can follow them on BKC Network on Twitter and Instagram, man. Love, man. Be safe out there during the protest. Hopefully, I get outside and protest today in Chicago if they open the city back up. I'm not sure how it's going to go. After yesterday, moms were still in police horses and everything over here.
Oh yeah, now they going crazy, man. Yo, you just make sure you be safe out there.
Yes, sir,
Word.
man, for sure. Man, much love, bro.
Yes, sir.